I wonder if we use more exacting measures like with the eye tracker, whether we'd actually get better prediction than using these more naturalistic coding approaches. So we might turn German soon and have a look at this again. At 24 months, DQ accounted for 35% of the variance in the ADOS scores, and at step 2, the model accounted for 41% of the variance, but social gaze at 18 months was not a unique predictor of autism severity at 24 months. At step 3, the overall model was significant and accounted for 49% of the variance in the severity of autism manifestations. So both cognitive ability and social gaze at 24 months were unique predictors of the ADOS scores. Now we turn our attention to prediction of cognitive ability. And when we looked at the relationship between social attention variables at each age and cognitive ability at 24 months, only social gaze at 18 months was correlated with DQ. At 24 months, each of the gaze behaviours were correlated with DQ at 24 months, but due to issues of independence and multiple linearity, only social gaze and joint activity at 24 months were entered into the regression to predict cognitive abilities. Due to, of course, the learning opportunity, we chose these behaviours because of the learning opportunities inherent in these behaviours. So the ADOS score entered at step 1 to control for the previously identified relationship with social attention and DQ was a significant predictor of cognitive ability at 24 months. Social gaze at 18 months entered into step 2 was not a unique predictor of cognitive ability at 24 months. The ADOS scores again entered at step 1, social gaze at 24 months in step 2 and joint activity in step 3. You can see here that autism severity and joint activity were unique predictors of concurrent cognitive ability. The ADOS score accounted for 25% of the variance. Social gaze did not contribute to the prediction of cognitive ability, but joint activity contributed an additional 4% of variance, with the overall model being significant and accounting for 29% of the variance of cognitive ability. So to conclude, the children with autism showed specific deficits in social gaze, and these deficits are more profound in toddlers with a diagnosis of autistic disorder compared to those meeting criteria for autism spectrum disorders. And while at 18 months we found that social gaze differentiated children with autistic disorder but not those with an ASD from the children with developmental and language disorder, by 24 months both groups with autism showed less social gaze than the children without autism. And at both ages, children who met criteria for autistic disorder displayed less social gaze than those meeting criteria for autism spectrum disorder, even after controlling for differences in cognitive ability. We were surprised that non-social gaze did not differentiate the children with and without autism at either age, nor did attention to the area of joint activity. And this latter finding suggests to us that young toddlers with autistic disorder and autism spectrum disorder may not differ from controls with regard to the opportunity for learning inherent in the amount of time spent attending to the joint activity area. And this way may well be an area to focus on in intervention to really enhance opportunities for learning. Our findings support the social-specific attention deficit theories of autism rather than the global attention deficit theories that would predict a more general impairment in attending to both people and objects. And we found no meaningful changes in development of social attention in the children with autism from 18 to 24 months, suggesting that social gaze is certainly meaningfully impaired by 18 months and shows no indications of improvement by 24 months. But it remains unclear whether the typically developed children display in this age range an alternative developmental trajectory, and the studies that we've seen just beforehand may well indicate that that's the case. Social gaze at 18 months was found to uniquely predict autism severity at 24 months beyond the contribution of cognitive ability. And social gaze at 24 months was also found to predict concurrent autism severity after concurrent cognitive ability, and social gaze at 18 months were accounted for. And these findings really support the role of reduced social attention during early life augmenting impairments in social development. And I think that findings come out very clearly from each of the talks today. In contrast, social gaze at 18 months did not predict cognitive ability at 24 months above differences in the severity of autism manifestations. However, concurrent attention to the joint activity area contributed unique variance to the prediction of cognitive ability above the contribution of autism severity and social gaze. And this finding supports the notion that there are unique learning opportunities inherent in attention to the area of joint activity. So our findings support the role of social attention in early development and really do assert the cascading effects of reduced social attention in development. And they suggest that social attention is meaningfully related across time to social and communication symptom severity as well as cognitive ability. And they also suggest that increasing opportunities for social learning prior to 24 months may improve developmental outcomes.